Greetings! It is I, Tempest Naravan Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome! It's time for Gathering the Roll, the only news program supported by the Empire, with exciting and fantastic news from collectible card games such as Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, and more, from role-playing games such as Dungeons & Dragons, Shadowrun, and Pathfinder, and even tabletop games that you might enjoy playing out there. So let's dive into it with more collectible card game news. First off, we have some news from Magic the Gathering. The pre-release event was, of course, over this weekend, and that means that this weekend, the full release of Aether Revolt is going to occur. So you can finally start buying up all those packs, boosters, boxes, everything you might want about it. You can start getting your collection together and building up those powerful Aether Revolt decks, throwing together your Kaladesh block decks to even better, enhancing those standards with new cards. So that's the exciting thing going on in Magic. They have also released, though, a spoiler for the Planeswalkers decks that they were selling. The special Planeswalkers decks. They have a full list of the cards that you can get in those decks now. Online, you can check it out and enjoy getting those cards in those packs, including the special versions of Planeswalkers from the deck that are different from the normal ones. In other collectible card game news, Vampire the Eternal Struggle, the European Championships, you can now sign up for it. So now you're able to sign up for it later on this year, getting close to summer. They're going to have the championships, but the signups have now begun. Of course, you still need to get tickets for the World of Darkness Berlin convention. That is something that you will also be required to get. But if you have tickets for the convention, you can also sign up for the championships and enjoy playing some Vampire the Eternal Struggle over the weekend. Of course, remember, those that play there get a copy of that anthology special set. So, sign up if you're interested. And you'll be in Europe during that time. Now let's move on to some role-playing news. In role-playing game news, of course, Dungeons & Dragons, we continue to have some Unearthed Arcana. This week is both for the Ranger and the Rogue. In the Ranger, we have two new archetypes. We first call it the Horizon Walker, which is all about kind of patrolling the world and keeping threats from other planes from evading the natural world. The other one is the Primeval Guardian, which is all about channeling the powers of nature and the wild, and it dives deeper into meshing both a ranger's ability with a couple of abilities similar to that of a druid. So it's sort of coming into a point in between the two of them, enhancing it just a little bit. Now the other archetype that's out is for the Rogue. They've released the Scout, which thematically actually fits with this. This is all about the natural born, the nature-based rogue, the one that's going out and hunting in the wild, hiding around in the wild, finding out information and bringing it back. So it is the wilderness-based rogue. So you can enjoy checking out this little scout, finding out information, going back and telling your friends. So all of these very nature-based archetypes have been bunched together and are now released. You can check them out if you wish to use them in your 5th edition games, or you want to see if your GM would be interested in allowing you to play one of them. Moving on to Paizo and Pathfinder news, there's a couple new releases from Pathfinder. We've been kind of quiet for the past couple of weeks. They're finally getting back to some interesting stuff. The first is the Pathfinder Player's Companion, Healers. It's all about being a healer. They not only have special archetypes and character options for up to 10 different classes that you can choose from your traditional ones that are healers like clerics and paladins, to an arcane healer that's a wizard that can learn some healing abilities to help them be, take the place if you don't have an actual healer in the group. Also includes some feats and other character options that might help your characters be better healers and take care of each other. The other one is the Pathfinder campaign setting, Quadra. Quadra being a kingdom in the eastern inner sea, and one of the mightiest in that area. Now you can explore it and have your adventures take place there, learn a little bit more about this interesting country, its history, and the various places you can visit there. Finally, we have the Pathfinder Flip Maps Elemental Plane Multi-Pack. Well, it's a combination of 2 flip maps this time, rather than just one normal flip map, but the point of it is to allow you to have examples of maps for all of the elemental planes. So now you can have a map for plane of fire, water, air, and earth, that each of them you can check out, plan to use in one of your games, or build something around it. The flip maps, of course, are still, as I said previously about flip maps, they are wet and dry erase marker friendly, and you can use them in your games as much as you want to design them, or you could just have them as some basic traveling areas if you really wanted to. So go ahead and check these out. They're always useful. let's move on to some Earth Dawn and FASA Games news. They've continuing to release more high circle character examples as they're ramping up towards their big new book that they're going to be releasing, this time with Swordmaster. It's all about that kind of artsmanship of the sword, the agility of it, while still having a little bit of performance in there, things that would be both going against someone's physical defenses and their social. So go ahead, check it out. If you're usually using a character from 9th to 15th circle, this will be useful for you. Now we have some Gurps news. In Gurps, there's a new book out, Gurps Classic Auto Duel. This is actually bringing to life the card game Car Wars, which is all about cars battling it out. This one is all about giving examples of some vehicles and rules for dueling out and battling in amongst vehicles in a Gurps game. So if you want to have a lot more vehicle-based combat and vehicle-based encounters, I might recommend checking out this book. Granted, you don't necessarily need to make a car war, just like the card game was all about, but, you know, it'll help in any kind of car-related material you might need. Moving on from some little Gurps news, we have, of course, some miscellaneous role-playing game news. Olympus Incorporated is out. This is taking the idea of the Olympians versus the Titans and claiming that they've been secretly battling it out now all this time. And now, when we're coming into the modern day, it's a big secret that's being kept. And that's the entire plot line of this RPG you can now get in PDF form. So go ahead and check it out, see what side you're virtually going to join. As usual with most of these, they probably give options for both, but probably prefer the Olympian side, of course. But, you know, you can check it out now if this interests you as a new RPG system that's out. Now, in the Traveler Space Exploration RPG system, they have a new supplement out, Mindjammer, that gives a lot more detailed information about various organizations and spaceships and more information all about space. So new spaceships, organizations, and more. Now, in the Star Wars Force and Destiny RPG system, they have a new supplement that's coming out, Disciplines of Harmony, which, with the destruction of the Jedi, there are people that still use the Force out there, and this is about people that are using the Force, the light side of Force, of course, for enhancing their clarity and knowledge, making them much more support-based characters using the Force for that matter, rather than just directly something more like a Jedi. So go ahead and check that out if you do some Star Wars. Now let's move on to some board game news. First off, the Conan board game has 2 new small expansions. First is Yorath of Yaga, a very Lovecraftian-inspired thing you can play and use in your game. The other one is, of course, Crossbowman. So now that both of these are ones that you can quickly add into your Conan games if you want to use them. Now, Beyond the Threshold for Mansions of Madness, which I previously talked about them previewing, has finally been released. Now you can get Beyond the Threshold and enhance your Mansions of Madness games with 2 new investigators, a new monster type, and much more. So go ahead and check it out now. And there has been a new preview for a new expansion for Elder Sign, Omens of the Deep, an aquatic theme adventuring part of Elder Sign. So if you're familiar with Elder Sign, this sounds like a very exciting one to check out and to push into your Elder Sign games, expanding the areas that you can explore and adventure together in. So that's it for the news for this week. Links to any of these stories will of course be in the description below. If you want to join in on our discussion on any of these news stories and more, you can always join us on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at www.twitch.tv/Tantus and Dracovin. That's TANTUSNDRACOVIN, where we will talk about many of these news stories and more, giving a little bit of discussion on them and answering any questions that you might have that would be important to have some discussion format on. But regardless, you can always remember to subscribe, like, and of course share the news. That's very important. If you have any smaller questions that you think you just want me to ask, or if you want to suggest anything because you can't join us on Saturday for discussing Tabletop, you can always leave it in the comments below. We will discuss them, go over any of that information. If you want to show some extra support for the channel and the Empire, you can always check out my Patreon, link in the description below. But regardless, until the next time, I bid you farewell.